The Israel-Iran War. Decades of tensions now spiraling out of control. The conflict between Israel and Iran has been simmering for decades, but now it's reaching a boiling point. On June 13th, Israel launched a massive wave of strikes, marking the start of this dangerous new phase. These attacks have dealt severe blows to Iran's nuclear weapons program, eliminating key scientists and military figures. In response, Iran has unleashed missile and drone barrages, while some Israeli leaders openly discuss regime change in Tehran. Are you going to target the supreme leader? We're doing what we need to do. The threat of all-out war between Israel and Iran has loomed over the Middle East for over 40 years. To understand how we got here, we must look back at the key events and alliances that turned this shadow war into a direct confrontation. From allies to enemies, the rise of a bitter rivalry. Surprisingly, Israel and Iran weren't always enemies. After Israel's founding in 1948, Iran became the second Muslim-majority nation to recognize the new Jewish state. The two countries maintained diplomatic relations, with Israel importing Iranian oil and daily flights connecting Tel Aviv and Tehran. A thriving Jewish community even lived in Iran. But everything changed with the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Iran's former leader, the Shah, seen as a puppet of the US and UK, was overthrown in a violent uprising. In his place, Ayatollah Khomeini seized power, declaring Israel the Little Satan and America the Great Satan. The new Islamic Republic embraced the Palestinian cause, handing over Israel's abandoned Tehran embassy to Yasser Arafat's PLO. Iran called on the entire Muslim world to unite against Israel. An unlikely alliance when enemies work together. Despite their hostility, Israel and Iran once cooperated when it served their interests. During the 1980s Iran-Iraq War, Israel secretly supplied weapons to Iran. Why? Iran was desperate for advanced U.S. arms, which Israel could provide. Israel saw Saddam Hussein's Iraq as the greater immediate threat. The war ended in a stalemate in 1988, but it reshaped Iran's strategy in two critical ways. The nuclear ambition. Iraq's missile attacks on Iranian cities convinced it needed stronger weapons. While Khomeini initially called nukes un-Islamic, his successor, Ali Khamenei, ordered scientists to pursue atomic energy, declaring, "We need it now to let our enemies know we can defend ourselves." This marked the beginning of Iran's nuclear program, aiming to match Israel, the Middle East's only nuclear power, though Israel officially neither confirms nor denies its arsenal. Building a network of allies. The war exposed Iran's isolation, with only Syria as a true ally. After the conflict, Iran focused on arming anti-Israel groups, including Hezbollah, formed in 1982, backed by Iran to fight Israel in Lebanon. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, supported since the 1980s. The Houthis in Yemen, a key proxy in Iran's regional influence. The escalation, from proxy wars to direct conflict. For years, Israel and Iran fought through proxies, but now the shadow war has gone public. With nuclear ambitions, missile programs, and regional alliances, this conflict is no longer hidden. The question is, will it explode into a full-scale regional war? Iran's expanding influence and Israel's existential fears. Since the early 1990s, Iran has steadily expanded its reach across the Middle East, backing key allies and militant groups to solidify its power. In Syria, Tehran has been a lifeline for President Bashar al-Assad, supporting his regime throughout years of civil war. In Iraq, after the 2003 U.S. invasion toppled Saddam Hussein, Iran funneled support to Shia militias, deepening its influence. This network of proxies, combined with Iran's advancing nuclear program, lies at the heart of Israel's deepest fears, a threat it cannot face alone. America. Israel's indispensable ally. Israel's security is inextricably tied to the United States, which provides billions in military aid and has brokered critical diplomatic ties with regional players, including Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain. For decades, leaders in both the U.S. and Israel have viewed Iran as a hostile and dangerous adversary. U.S. sanctions against Tehran have been a near-permanent fixture since 1979. Netanyahu's warnings and America's shifting stance. The alarm over Iran's nuclear ambitions was sounded early. In 1996, a young Benjamin Netanyahu stood before the U.S. Congress and delivered a stark warning. If Iran were to acquire nuclear weapons, this could preach catastrophic consequences. By the time Netanyahu returned to power in 2009, Israel and the U.S. were already engaged in a covert campaign to sabotage Iran's nuclear program. Stuxnet Cyberattack 2005-2010. A sophisticated U.S.-Israeli operation crippled Iran's uranium enrichment facilities, severely disrupting nuclear fuel production. Assassinations of scientists 2010-2020. Israel eliminated key figures in Iran's nuclear program, including Mohsen Fakhrizadeh as top atomic scientist. But while both nations agreed Iran was a threat, their strategies diverged under President Obama and Netanyahu. Netanyahu's demand: Iran should not enrich any uranium, period. Obama's pragmatism: some concessions were necessary for a diplomatic solution. The Iran nuclear deal and U.S.-Israel tensions. In 2015, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA), brokered by Obama, shook U.S.-Israel relations. The deal's terms: restrictions on Iran's nuclear activities. International inspections in exchange for sanctions relief. Obama defended it. Because of this deal, the international community will be able to verify that Iran will not develop a nuclear weapon. But Netanyahu called it a mistake of historic proportions, arguing that allowing Iran any uranium enrichment was unacceptable. For the first time, Israel and Washington were openly at odds over Iran policy, until a political earthquake changed everything. Trump's election. A hardline turn. Donald Trump's 2016 victory was a game-changer for Netanyahu. Early White House visit. Trump welcomed Netanyahu within his first month in office, signaling a stronger alliance. A new approach to Iran. During a trip to Israel, Trump vowed to counter Tehran's nuclear ambitions, aligning fully with Netanyahu's stance. Together, we can thwart Iran's unbridled ambition to become a nuclear weapons state. In 2018, Netanyahu escalated his case against the JCPOA, presenting a dramatic slideshow of files and CDs, claiming Iran lied to the world about its nuclear intentions. Days later, Trump pulled the U.S. out of the deal, calling it a horrible, one-sided deal that should never have been made. The U.S. then reimposed crushing sanctions. Assassinated Qasem Soleimani 2020, Iran's top general, in a drone strike in Iraq. Trump's goal? To force Iran into a new, stricter agreement. But no deal materialized, and critics argue that withdrawing from the JCPOA backfired, pushing Iran to accelerate its nuclear program. The escalating Iran-Israel conflict, a timeline of recent events. Recent developments have dramatically intensified the long-simmering tensions between Iran and Israel. In early 2023, the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) revealed a troubling discovery: uranium particles enriched to 83.7% at an Iranian nuclear facility, alarmingly close to weapons-grade levels. This finding came just months before the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, which marked the deadliest assault on Israeli soil since the nation's founding. Israel's response to the Hamas attacks was swift and severe. Prime Minister Netanyahu's government launched a devastating military campaign in Gaza that Palestinian authorities claim has resulted in over 55,000 casualties. While this operation largely neutralized Hamas's military capabilities, Israel simultaneously targeted other Iranian-backed groups across the region. Conducted military operations in southern Lebanon that significantly degraded Hezbollah's forces, including the elimination of their leader Hassan Nasrallah. Carried out joint airstrikes with the United States against Houthi rebels in Yemen. Bombed the Iranian consulate in Damascus during April 2024. Assassinated Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran in July 2024. The conflict reached another critical juncture in December 2024 when Syria's president was overthrown. Israel seized this opportunity to eliminate remaining aerial threats in Syria, effectively creating a secure corridor for potential future strikes against Iran. Within just 14 months, Israel had systematically dismantled nearly all of Iran's regional proxy networks. Israel's strategic advantages have become increasingly apparent. Successful targeting of key Iranian military and nuclear personnel. Iran's apparent inability to mount effective air defenses. Israel's proven capacity to intercept most retaliatory strikes. However, this conflict has also highlighted Israel's continued dependence on American support. While U.S. awareness of Israel's June 13th attack plans was necessary, the Biden administration has carefully avoided direct military involvement in the conflict. Former President Trump's ambiguous statements, "I may do it, I may not do it. Nobody knows what I'm going to do," reflect the complex U.S. position, balancing demands for Iranian surrender with long-standing promises to avoid new Middle Eastern wars. The current stalemate presents significant challenges. Israel cannot fully destroy Iran's underground nuclear facilities without American bunker-buster munitions. Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei shows no signs of surrendering or considering regime change. The conflict has now entered an unprecedented phase of direct confrontation after decades of shadow warfare.